I'm Joe Reed. You're listening to Behind the Mic with AudioFile magazine. Michele Cobb is the publisher of AudioFile, and she is here this week with some really pretty fabulous suggestions. Hi, Michele.
Hi, Joe. Yes, fabulous suggestions, all from women authors.
Okay, and who are we going to be talking about today?
Today, we're going to talk about Ann Tyler's 3 Days in June, read by J. Smith Cameron.
Jerry from Succession, among many, many other things. And she's done a couple of audiobooks. She did Table for Two with Eduardo Ballerini, Amar Toll's book.
Right. And this is a really short listen. I mean, short for you, Joe, only 4.5 hours, which is about the mother of the bride whose life is being upended right before her daughter's wedding. So her job is in jeopardy. Her ex husband, Max, has shown up needing a place to stay, and he's got a random cat in tow. And the groom to be, he might just be cheating.
Oh, God.
So the 3 days surrounding the wedding are about to be what one might call oddly unpleasant and yet lovely because there are all these connections between the characters and they're getting to spend time together under the auspices of this big event.
And how is J. Smith Cameron as a narrator?
Well, the protagonist character itself is that kind of on the edge of acerbic, unpleasant, and many people who like Ann Tyler, including myself, that's what we've come to expect. And
Mhm.
I would say that the narrator has a very nice voice for that prickly Gail, Gail being the main character. But I did find it sometimes difficult to tell who was speaking when the characters changed, as there wasn't much of a shift in tone or pace, which makes sense for someone who hasn't read a ton of audiobooks. But she does do a great job at finding the humor, which in a piece like this is really important.
Yes, and I mean, in Ann Tyler, this is her 25th novel, which is really extraordinary.
Crazy. Yeah, really good.
That's a woman who really minds family.
Yes, and in this piece, we're revisiting Max and Gail, the parents, their own wedding and breakup as they're attempting to navigate their daughter Debbie's situation, and they kind of disagree on how to proceed. So there's a lot of that interhuman interaction around family in this one.
Well, should we listen to a little bit?
Yeah, this is where things are about to change.
This is 3 Days in June by Ann Tyler, read by J. Smith Cameron.
However, it brings me to a subject I've been meaning to discuss with you. I stood a bit straighter myself. I'm very alert to people's tones of voice. I'll be 66 years old on my next birthday, she said, and Ralph just turned 68. He's starting to talk about traveling a bit and seeing more of the grandchildren. Really? So I'm thinking of handing in my resignation before the new school year begins. The new school year would begin in September. We were already in late June. I said, "So does this mean I'll take over as headmistress?" It was a perfectly logical question, right? Somebody had to do it, and I was next in line for sure. I'd been Marilee's assistant for the past 11 years, but Marilee let a small silence develop, as if I'd presumed in some way. Then she said, "Well, that's what I wanted to chat about."
Oh yeah, I can hear. Yes, you can hear the way. I like the way she works the asides. There's that
Yes.
undercurrent of humor, even though this isn't a particularly funny excerpt. You can just hear the way. Well, yeah, of course, that was a reasonable question, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a quality to it that really I want to keep listening.
Absolutely. And, you'd be done in like less than a day, Joe. So go for it.
Okay, I will. 3 Days in June by Ann Tyler, read by J. Smith Cameron. Okay, another woman author. Go, Michele. And I will talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. Dreamscape is the publisher of today's episode of Behind the Mic. Dreamscape publishes audiobooks from authors like Frida McFadden, Kirsten Proby, and Stasia Stark. Explore their full catalog at dreamscapepublishing.com. And don't forget to stop by audiofilemagazine.com, where you can find hundreds of reviews, as well as interviews and articles about authors and narrators, and videos of some of your favorite narrators discussing the books they perform. That's audiofilemagazine.com. I'm Joe Reed. I'll talk to you tomorrow.